The October 6th solar flash was a big no-show. So, obviously I'm still here. So are you if you're watching this. And yeah, just wanted to check in with you guys and tell you the obvious. Actually, the solar storms that were supposed to hit yesterday, they showed up, but they didn't have any punch to them. They didn't have any real impact. So that was surprising because they were being, people, the solar storm people were all saying this was going to be the hugest one that we've ever had, and et cetera, et cetera. But when it actually showed up, they were like, this isn't as big as we thought. So I don't know what any of that means. I won't lie to you, I am quite embarrassed. I don't think that I got myself in any real trouble in terms of, I think if I remember that I was pretty down to earth about, I don't know if this is really going to happen or not. This is just my feelings. This is, I was putting two and two together. And I've never, still to this day, I've never gotten any messages telepathically that there was going to be a solar flash. I've never gotten that. I came to that conclusion based on, I have gotten that original message that there's going to be some kind of worldwide event that the whole world will see and experience, which will absolutely fundamentally shift their view, especially of religion. That's the only thing that I continue to predict. How that's going to happen, I don't know. I did ask the light beings early on 2 years ago, what is going to be this worldwide event? Is it going to be a fleet of spaceships? And the response that I believe that I got was, no, it's going to be a series of solar waves of love that will penetrate the earth and shift things up. So I can't say that I've ever gotten that information. So this idea of the solar flash is something that I've adopted because it best describes what I thought I was being told. So obviously I want that experience. And I clearly wanted that experience, for there to be a sudden, huge event, which doesn't mean that there still won't be. But it's got me rethinking a lot of things. And, now, of course, in hindsight, everything, is 2020. But I really can't. It wasn't like I came up with this idea just because I had some hope. I'm not the kind of person that normally believes in things like that. And but I was having major interdimensional experiences, and the messages kept piling up that seemed to point to something like this. And you saw me. Those of you, communicated with me. I was like, my insides are telling me this is coming. The truth is that I've also become more and more disenchanted with everything in this world, and I've become more and more unmotivated to be part of this world, how to live in this world the way that it's going, and how to have a life, and one thing that it did for me when I put it in the video, which I took down, about is the solar flash coming today? But I put it in that video that being in that mindset that I was in, which maybe was the point of all of it, but the mindset I was in yesterday, I was as disconnected from this version of reality in terms of my investment as I think was humanly possible. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was scared. I was frightened. I didn't know, which again surprises me. It tells me that there was a huge chunk of me that believed that it was going to happen, and I didn't know what that was going to mean. And I was excited, but I was also quite frightened. And it was really an exercise in, I was deliberately choosing to make the decision that I was going to believe this. In fact, I started like packing up my stuff. I mean, I'm going to have to leave here in about 10 days because the owner of this house is coming back. You know, he spends, a couple weeks twice a year. And so I clear out. If I'm here, I'm going to have to leave again in January for a few months, which is an enormous pain in the ass. But so I started packing everything up, and it was symbolic. I was making a clear symbolic gesture, as well as I was thinking, I want to keep things, for people when they come here. I want my stuff to be organized so that if I'm not here, they can, do whatever they're going to do with it. And I even left a note. I left a note for the landlord saying if I'm not here and my stuff is still here, it means that I left in the event, because I would assume that if I experienced it, so did the whole world, and if he was still here, he would know what I was talking about. So when I woke up this morning, I was very happy to take that and tear it up and put it in the trash, because by last night, by the time I went to bed, it was quite obvious that I was mistaken in my estimations. So anyway, I'm still here. I won't lie to you. I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed. I was really ready to believe in the feelings and the intuitions that I was getting, and again, nobody ever told me. I never got that direct message from anybody. ET, light being, or human. I never got the message from anybody directly that was going to happen. I've been getting all kinds of other messages, like your work on this planet has come to an end. Your time on this planet has come to an end. We're coming for you soon. Everything's going to change, and really feeling, in these meditations that we're doing, you guys, if you're doing the meditations, you know what I'm talking about. So, part of it was I really wanted to send a clear message to the universe that I was going to do everything in my capacity to completely disconnect from my attachments to this world. And that was really what it was about for me. I didn't expect, going into this, because everything started lining up, and I went, wait a minute, this looks like, I've been primed for this to happen. I made the conscious decision that I wanted to go all out in completely, totally disconnecting to my 3D attachments. So I guess I'm proud of myself for that, but I was afraid of what did happen. I was afraid that I was going to become super attached to this idea, and I was going to become very attached to the nebulousness of the messages I was getting and the feelings I was getting, which I was projecting onto. And that was something that I've, from the very beginning of this, when, 2.5 years ago, when I started having these experiences where I believe that extraterrestrial beings were communicating to me, and communicating to me the crazy, completely fantastical things that you've seen me talk about. I made the decision that I was going to accept everything at face value and that I was not going to become attached. So I did, and I'm not judging myself for that. I think it was a very human response, and I think it was kind of inescapable. I worked hard to not become attached, but at the same time, I was very, very committed to taking the action to be completely committed to disconnecting from this 3D reality. So I achieved that. However, it was a tough pill to swallow. Because yesterday I became so aware, because I had no attachment to this 3D world, I became so aware of how horrible it is here. And that's not something that I would have said a few years ago. I would have called that, victim mentality. But watching, the thing that's getting me the most, and I don't think I'm the only one that's responding to this, but what is the most saddening and frightening thing about what's happening in the world today is seeing that there is a deliberate worldwide commitment. There's a program of, the whole world. When we look at the response to Lahaina, those people still haven't gotten any benefits. Many people have completely lost their homes, and there's been they've gotten nothing from insurance. People pay home insurance, a ton of money on home insurance, and then insurance says, "Oh, we don't cover that." And then they end up having to pay mortgage and taxes, and government can come in and just take the land away. And there are people that have gotten nothing, and they're homeless. That's still going on. And there have been tens of billions of dollars sent to Ukraine and to Israel. And without even engaging in those arguments about whether or not that is worthwhile, I would still say that the people of the United States should come first to the government of the United States. And what's just happened recently with Hurricane Helene, and there are people, who are completely, assuming they're not dead. There are people that they're not getting any government support. And FEMA, which is the government agency that's supposed to be taking care of people, says we don't have any money. So FEMA doesn't have any money, but tens of billions of dollars continue to go to these foreign governments, and are doing things like paying health insurance to Ukrainians and all kinds of other crazy stuff like that. And then to hear about the response that people who are volunteering to go and take helicopters into the mountains of North Carolina, trying to help people who've been injured and left homeless, and they're being told that they can't do it or they'll be arrested. It's very hard not to get the impression that there's a bunch of people that want you non-alived. and with that kind of understanding of the world, it's very hard not to be afraid. I mean, and it's very hard to want to be here. So that was very. I mean, I already knew all those things, but there's a hurricane barreling towards my home now as I speak, and I'm watching that. It's already windy and rainy, and I don't want to, but there's a very good chance I'm going to have to get in my car and drive away. Last time I was here during Ian, I wasn't a direct hit, but it passed just south of me. And that's after it went through, I'm on the east side. That's after it hit the west side and then came to the east side. But it did a number where I was. It damaged this house. Not a whole lot, but it did damage it. But there was huge amounts of flooding, and there was, power outages, and it was no fun. I hated it. And it lasted for like 3 days. And I remember sitting in this house with no electricity, listening to, hurricane force winds flying around. And I did not like that. That was no fun at all. So I'm not looking forward to that coming here in a day or so. So still waiting to make a decision whether I'm going to hightail it out of here or not. So yeah, I won't lie to you. I'm not happy to be here right now. And I don't know what this means going forward. I suppose it doesn't invalidate anything that I've been teaching or experiencing since. It wasn't like I said, it wasn't like I was told, here's what's going to happen. I wasn't. I consciously made the decision to think maybe this is it, and I'm going to prepare myself. And it was more like I was showing the universe, hey, if you guys are doing this, I'm all in. And if my decision to want this has anything to do with it, then I'm going to want to participate in this. I think going forward, I don't think I'm going to do that again. I think, even if a spaceship, flies over my house with a neon sign telling, the date and time of the solar flash, I think I'll keep that information to myself because, it's either going to come or it's not. And having said that, it doesn't invalidate that October 6th wasn't significant. I don't know that. Again, I had a dream a few weeks ago where October 6th seemed important, and then I saw all of these other events lining up, and that made me think, oh, it's the Flash. And it might not have meant that. It might have just meant that October 6th is a turning point of some kind, and something, it might be the beginning of some major turnaround. So could have just said, just watch what happens on the 6th. I took it that next level. So yeah, I am embarrassed, and I'm deeply disappointed, and yeah, I got a crappy few days ahead of me. I'm not looking forward to, and those are frightening as well. Financially, I'm not in a great place. So anything that happens to my housing could be disastrous for me. It's not like I can bounce back and go, well, I'll just, the past 4 years, I have been living very vicariously, and I don't regret any of it, but I spent a lot of money, and I put myself like 60 grand in debt, all said and done. And, so I'm living through that. And so, yeah, it's a very frightening time. I won't lie to you. This is a very frightening time for me. There are people that have it much worse than I do, but there's not a whole lot preventing me from living in my car. If any major anything was going to happen, I could be one of those people. So anyway, there you go. will continue. I hope I haven't ruined my reputation. Um, but if I haven't ruined my reputation by this time, saying all the crazy things I've been saying, if I haven't completely ruined my reputation, then I can't imagine this is going to do a lot to me. Anyway, I'm excited to see where things. I should say I'm more curious to see where things are going to go, how things are going to go, and I'm going to go back to doing what I know how to do. I'm going to keep working the 12 steps and keep just doing what I've done that have worked for me for my life, and continue to do the practices, and continue to do the energy work, and yeah, we'll see where it goes. So there it is. Obviously, I'm still here, and as well as you are. So yeah, I mean, look, David Icke, when he started his craziness, he showed up and said that he was the second coming of Christ, and then predicted that New Zealand on a specific date was going to sink into the ocean. And those things didn't happen, and people ridiculed him. And then look at where he is now. He's definitely not in any financial trouble. So, yeah, if if making crazy predictions that don't come true is something that helped him, maybe it'll help me. Any case, there it is, my friends. As always, I do my best to be transparent with you and tell you the truth. And I've always wanted that in people. I've always wanted people to be transparent and honest, so that I can relate to them if I want to learn from them. So anyway, I'm going to stop babbling. I love you all, and I'm sure you'll hear from me, obviously, very soon. Take care.